The Kenyan culture has seen significant changes, with certain underground trends forming and being outlived within a short period. We have seen eras come and go, such as the Gengeton and Odi eras. This can be likened to the Latwizi in South Africa, whereby participants listen to Yeet or trap music. They are inspired by Yeet, hence dress like him and most importantly pose like him. They do this as a survival and replication technique to stand out and take advantage of trends, which helps them portray dominance and social class in the immediate society they live in. A very important era in the Kenyan underground culture that has never or was not given headlines was the photo influencer era, alias Masoshi era, whose main trigger, amongst others, was the rise in popularity of Instagram in Kenya. There were major pillars that strengthened this culture, including events, meeting points, and the uprising ideologies that separated yours and Odis. Join me in today's video as I uncover the detailed rise and fall of the Kenyan Masoshi era, going through the conflicts between groups who fought for exclusive power during this time. I am Leo Zaresa. I do investigative reports. Like and subscribe for more videos like this. The participants in this era. It comprised mostly of high school kids with a few campus guys. The ideal age of a Kenyan high school student is between 13 to 18 years, marking the 4-year high school life. It's safe to say most high school students are below the legal age, which is 18 years in Kenya. Below this age, the young folks are under parent or guardian guidance and are not entitled to make their own decisions in sensitive matters. This may include participation in intercourse and usage of hard drugs or alcohol. However, due to the curious nature of these young folks, they had the urge to venture into these activities which were prohibited for their age. The influences that orchestrated or gave life to this era. The name Soshi is a Sheng word meaning socialite, which refers to a person who is well known in a fashionable society and is fond of social activities and entertainment. Soshi is singular and Soshis or Masoshi is plural. During 2014, Instagram had started gaining popularity in Kenya despite the platform being launched in 6 October 2010. However, not many people used it. The only few who joined did so to follow on their favorite celebrities, majorly United States ones in fashion and music. Due to the nature of most celebrities to show their flashy lifestyles through photos on IG, it influenced these young followings to replicate this socialite culture in the surroundings as a way to mimic their idols. As many people became aware and joined IG in Kenya, they idolized their own socialites, giving them mass followings. This period was marked also by the rising popularity of selfie kind of photos, which involved a person holding his or her phone and taking the picture themselves. These were orchestrated by celebrities like Kim Kardashian. Filters became handy and other IG terms like hashtags. Other platforms like Musical.ly and Vine were popular at this time. Musical.ly was more of a dance videos sharing platform with popular songs such as Silento's Watch Me. Vine was a skit sharing platform. Masoshi, however, felt the need for a quick photo sharing platform, and Instagram was the perfect choice. Getting about 10k followers and above with decent amount of likes qualified you to be a Soshi. After seeing the benefits the Masoshis were getting, they wanted to be more expressive with quality photos. So photo shoots became popular, and this was a major pillar in this era. The Soshis had found a way to express and share their photos to their fans and following. But there was another need, a way to physically interact and meet with their fans. Photo shoots served this purpose, but on a small scale, since only small numbers, about 10, went for this. At this point, Instagram in Kenya was mainly accessed by uptown kids from affluent Nairobi areas and few from middle or lower class areas. To be more elaborate, Instagram was used by yours. This is a term given to Kenyan cool kids who follow hip-hop culture, communicate in Black American-inspired English, and reside mainly in areas like Karen and Kilimani. Their opposite is Odis or Ordinare, adopted from ordinary. Just like the word itself, it means guys living the normal lifestyle, free from external influences and cherishing their country's current state. These are guys residing in middle and lower class Nairobi areas. communicate in Sheng language and are inspired by dancehall lifestyle orchestrated by figures like Vybz Kartel and Roots songs. Earlier, these traits would differentiate these two groups, but later they would start to share traits like yours can still use Sheng, but the talking style is different from Odis. Their photo poses are very different, with yours using poses and hand gestures inspired by hip-hop and trap artists, and their female associates following Kim Kardashian-like poses. These two groups had an unspoken hatred to one another and didn't interact as a group unless you know the other group's member on a personal level. Nairobi is the capital city of Kenya, and mostly the other guys from places like Kisumu, Mombasa and Nakuru followed the trends in Nairobi. The physical interactions up to this point were amongst members of the same area, and public events were not popular yet. The only place you could see your Soshi's lifestyle was on IG posts. In 2015, Masoshi dreams came true when events catering to their age groups gained popularity. This includes Color Festival and Sundance. After early attendance and sharing of photos on IG, more people wanted to join as they saw their Soshis attend and maybe as a way to fit in. There is one problem though. These events were seasonal following the Kenyan high school academic calendar. Significant number of players during this era attended boarding schools. They could only happen when their largest audience was home, and this was during the April, August, and December holidays. On August 2016, Instagram released a feature that boosted the Soshi culture, that is by introducing IG stories. This made it easier for communication on events that were not worth to make it to the main feed. This is because Soshis wanted to maintain a cleaner feed by posting high-quality pictures of themselves or with other Soshis to draw attention. As an effort to distinguish themselves from other wannabes, Masoshi introduced a new format of organizing their IG feed, that is the 3 similar photo strategy. Instagram posts consist of 3 rows, and this strategy ensured same photos on each row, only differentiated by poses. One notable figure that did this is Mbetemalu. Other guys opted for a black and white photos feed. There was a YouTube channel that ranked Masoshi called Revealed by Steve S. They would categorize them as upcoming, best drip, and others. Another event was forming in the underground scene that was very different from the former. Its core purpose was to provide soccer opportunities to soccer enthusiasts. They nailed it when they incorporated entertainment by having a stage with a DJ, MC, and performance acts. Green Sports Kenya categorized their events to follow the high school academic calendar. Hito Cup, April Holiday, Gold Cup, August Holiday, Platinum Cup, December Holiday. It hosted its events mainly in suburb high-end areas such as Karen and Lavington, mostly in private higher-class institutions like Hillcrest. This appealed to the Masoshi, who were at first comprised mainly of yours due to the serene and posh environments. In addition, some higher-class food spots and stands were included in the event, including Java. Emergency services were provided to those injured by St. John's Ambulance. During 2017 period, Green Sports events were still an hidden gem and attendance wasn't high, but this changed in 2018 after more people spread information on the event. The photo shoots on the other hand continued, with more people joining the band with hopes of becoming Soshis. This gave rise to out-of-way photos which were more explicit and not suitable for underage kids. Some photos portrayed more revealing clothes and dirty poses by male and female participants. Other concerned parties had enough of this, and guys started spreading or reposting the photos with hashtag Ifikie Wazazi, meaning let it reach to the parents, as a way to expose the participants who seemed to be underage. The awareness started as a joke and troll, but it caught the eyes of parents who did not take it lightly. More parents started complaining, but the problem was the person to be blamed. There has been tension and trolling between high school and university guys, attributed to the freedom enjoyed by university guys, yet most high school students are in boarding schools. So university guys sided with parents exposing or blaming the high school guys. It hit headlines on television and radio stations and stirred discussion. Later, the police authorities made an unofficial banning of outdoor photo shoots in Nairobi CBD and environs. Some guys were actually arrested in the act. This spread panic to the photoshoot enthusiasts, and they waited for the matter to cool down before resuming. It now became a way of life for the Instagram photo lovers. The school time was for planning what they could do during holidays, and without questions, photo shoots and events were on their list. The school times were also for sharing stories to those who didn't participate in the social life due to reasons including living far away from Nairobi or they weren't interested. Stories were always welcomed in boarding high schools due to the locked up nature, and anything to cheer up students was appreciated. Those in high schools in Nairobi and resided in Nairobi enjoyed supremacy, since while locked in schools, they enjoyed the Nairobi life effect. Most pretty girls went to Nairobi schools, and during school events like funkies, these groups would meet and it could be a continuation from where they left at home. Those who attended schools far away from Nairobi enjoyed less than their counterparts, although they continued the Nairobi lifestyle in their schools, but it collided with other cultures from other regions like Kisumu and Mombasa. They still held the supremacy in their schools due to the Nairobi privilege, but missed out on the feast their brothers back in Nairobi schools were enjoying. To compensate for absence in the game while in boarding secondary schools, some methods were devised. Since relevancy on IG was mostly maintained by constant updates on your page, some deleted their accounts temporarily to create mystery to their fans who were still at home, day schoolers and others. Others would take lots of photos during holiday with different fits and schedule each consistently for posting during the time they were in school. But how would they post them? Well, some snuck phones into schools and others left their account to be managed by relatives or close friends who would be at home, like university students. Those who played it safe would depend on school parent meetings and visitings where they would give updates on IG. The day schoolers had a massive advantage here. In 2017, another underground culture exploded which solidified the Oddies. It was the Oddie dance movement pioneered by suitable songs from artists like Timeless Noel. The songs were a mixture of gospel and secular dancing nature. It took the country by storm, whereby dance challenges were done and some notable dance moves like Kanyaga Lami emerged. This coincided with other dance moves inspired by soundtracks such as the Tima Anthem by Kimo and Stiga. A year prior, thus 2016, other Kenyan songs by the likes of Council and Timitidat had started this wave of dances. It wasn't until 2017 that it became a nationwide hit, and Kenyans started speculating that this dance would define Kenya in international culture battles. High school kids participated heavily, whereby you could find two people confront one another while maintaining eye contact. Facial expressions mattered in this battle, and the crowd's approval determined the winner, but it was more of vibe than battle. These dancers hijacked the scouts' attires, aka Maskanga as known in Cheng. This wave leaned more to the Oddie side. During entertainment sessions in high school, whenever these popular tracks were played, the scene could turn into a pandemonium, with students forming circles like mosh pits. In between the circles were the dancers, mostly two against each other, and if you were out of dance moves, you were ushered out with another person joining. If you joined to troll with no worthy dances, you would be booed out. This wave occurred nationwide and in public high schools mostly. It is clear that one group was left out, the Yos. Most of them were in private schools and some in public schools, but their population could be varying in public high schools. Luckily, a savior came to their rescue. In 2017, another wave came to light. This was the dance moves done by hip-hop and trap fanatics, notably Mateo or Ayo and Teo and Kida the Great. They were inspired by the trap and the SoundCloud rappers wave. Some notable dances were the reverse, dub, and slow motion moves. These appealed to the youths, and now they had a comeback for the Oddies. During high school entertainments and breaks, battles between the two groups occurred. They both noticed something. He who would control the music played would win, since it would set the mood for their dances. So collisions started, and even entertainments would be discontinued whenever one group wanted only their songs to be played, but the other resisted. In schools where the entertainment captain or controller favored one group, they could easily win. This came with shady means such as playing the other group's songs to maintain balance but disrupting their session by unplugging the electronics. If the school authority couldn't solve this by, for example, having two different hall sections to cater for these groups, the chaos would continue. Unfortunately, Those who suffered were the neutral guys who weren't aligned to any of the two. Similar to US music groups trend at the time, YBN and others, Kenyan Masoshi and affiliates started their own groups following trends such as EFW, In Full Don't Flip With, followed by initial username, Isa followed by username, arguably after 21 Savage, Isa hit and album. You can hear Drake start his verse with Isa 21, Isa Jeff, referring to 21 Savage and Young Thug. This Isa trend gave rise to some lingo at the time, such as Isa Plin or Isa Plan. For example, whenever you planned to go to an event and your friend asked you for an affirmation, you just said Isa Plin to show you will be there. Others such as Isa Vibe, Isa Weekend, and so on. These groups were formed for purposes of dominance in social settings. Their members comprised of close friends either in real life or online. Dominance included respect when you show up to social settings frequented by Masoshi and other attendants, which could give you an upper hand with pretty girls, that is motion. Anyone could make himself a member by including the initials on their IG username, but it could prove futile if the other founders or starters and members don't recognize you. Masoshi from same neighborhood had strong bonds, but groups were not limited to the same neighborhood guys as long as you had motion, that is high IG follower count and a socially pre-selected person from a rich known family or person with good social skills. Some groups were exclusive, involving guys who knew one another. For example, ATL group comprised of Obina ATL, Amaka Jedida, and others who resided around Greenspan area. The meeting spots were video game sites such as Game Masters, situated in an underground, freaks near archives, parks such as Central Park, events like Color Festival, Green Spots, restaurants such as Pizza Inn, Galitos, and archives. At this period, most high schoolers didn't attend concerts or shows by artists, but later they would start. Some notable concerts in this period: Jameson Connects, which saw guest artists Ty Dolla $ign and Nasty C perform alongside local artists like Calligraph Jones. Nigerian Joe Boy performance on Knifefest, whereby rains disrupted the vibe, but hardcore guys didn't care. Some events like the Rick Ross performance was expensive for most guys to attend. Photo shoots acted as a major meeting purpose, whereby you could never miss groups of Masoshi and wannabe Masoshi taking photos in the Nairobi CBD and environs. Some popular spots for photography included Cardinal Otunga Telephone Wall, K1 Clubhouse, decent estates like Nyayo Estate, behind Nairobi CBD buildings, on solitary streets, on top of high-rise buildings, grassland areas, and of course on events. Fashion inspired this era, whereby Masoshi and wannabe Masoshi wore fits inspired heavily by US artists and fashion scene. For example, when Balenciaga started gaining popularity in Kenya. This includes the speed trainers and Triple S, arguably adopted after some guys like Offset rocked it during the early release time. Off-White by Virgil was popular at the time, and some Soshis, notably a duo of guys with usernames Don't Freak Out or Tyne and Colo Hastings, were the first known figures to popularize the Off-White marks, red t-shirts, and yellow stripes pants. Tyne can be accredited for popularizing the Balenciaga speed sock shoes in this era, but most of these clothes and kicks are replicas, since affording the original pieces is expensive, and that should include shipping to Kenya, as there are no physical stores in the country. People didn't care though, as long as you wear a known label. Another source of clothes is Nairobi's Gikomba market, whereby second-hand clothes are bought and there is a chance of getting original used clothes and shoes. Guys on this trend would storm Gikomba market during the start of high school holidays and get their feet right to look up to date and fresh during meetups. A few compatriots adopted a vintage style of wearing to look different, although the photoshoot style was mostly similar. Hand poses inspired by hip-hop figures, facial expressions, peace sign pose, hands cross pose. Others opted for story and more professional style of capturing images. For example, a guy called Brian Bate at the time. Other guys sold clothes and shoes, arguably higher grade replicas, notably Gas Kuka and Mohamed Salah, who were close to Nairobi West Sneaker. This trio popularized the Balenciaga Triple S on East Alley release date. Some clothes like sliced jackets trended, and a few plugs capitalized on this, including Mr. Right, who was the main distributor. Some fights between Soshis occurred. On one occasion, Naiwe Sneaker was cornered in the CBD by other guys after they had thrown shade online and a scuffle ensued. This later made a topic of discussion online, with both parties claiming that they won.
Yani tumeenda tu hivyo archives kujibamba tao ati leo niko na mdemu wangu, lakini haya maodi wanatuzungusha. Walai si kama yote tunafaa tuambie tu government itupe hadi mabunduki walai. Ndio asi wakikamtishia pia si tuko na kitu ya ku.
The event scene was not the same anymore when groups like ATL would organize small attendance parties by hiring a trap house and commercialized it using tickets. Inspired by a sound popularized at the time by Future, Migos, and others, the term trap was adopted for these parties. They advertised on IG posts and stories. Since they had a respectable individual following, it was easier to get attendees. Group members enjoyed privileges such as free entry, socializing power, and they could make another friend out of the group enjoy privileges too. If they say you can enter for free, that's it. But this mostly applied to non-group members who resided in the same neighborhood. In the case of ATL, East Greenspan, you had protection privilege in fights. If you are in the organizers group, the bouncers are on your side. Group members could also enter other events for free, arguing that they could get the other organizers to their upcoming events for free. Win-win. Traps would last overnight, but most people would leave early since they were not 18 yet and still under parents' watch. To go out mostly for ladies was difficult. Some valid reasons like visiting a friend would work. Hardcore guys would spend the night, and the later trap parties started involving more 18+ activities such as narcotics, liquor, and twerking. Traps were preferred by majority to green spots and color festivals since they were chaotic and more violent. Green spots had a major advantage. It had a clean reputation and online establishments, so telling a parent you are going to a soccer event hosted in a school compound, ending before dark, and showing them the social media page was believable. The chaotic nature of traps and Masoshi parties gave green spots and other credible events an upper hand, which lured parents of their kids' safety. The traps had a major problem. Due to their violent nature, police often disrupted them, forcing attendees to scatter and head back home. This is after neighbors near the venue would complain on noise. The organizers found a solution for this, getting a written permit from the police heads. Regardless of this, police still disrupted some traps. Some notable traps included Codin Crazy, Trap Nasra, and TMB, which would steal the love green spots had later on. This was a time when the trap music was at its peak, with tracks by Future and Migos being blasted in these traps. As a way to stand out and set new trends, other groups started other party styles, hiring multiple cars and going to short road trips. Unlike the trap parties, this was exclusively for the related group guys. Due to the increasing number of players in this era, it was necessary to develop a means to make these events more private and exclusive. So traps, short road trips, and other parties started happening without social media promotion. Other guys would only know there was an event only after it had happened. They were more close circle and VIP style. One of these is an event organized to celebrate McNoel's birthday. A higher class guy respected since folks associated him with money due to his family ties. Very few people outside the close circle would get a chance to attend due to leakage of information, since they say a secret is only a secret if you keep it to yourself. Other close circle events were not worth attending because you could find yourself partying with another circle who don't socialize with you. Motion is what could change how you were treated, and it meant you fell on one or more of these categories. Pretty girl, high IG following and engagement, high social skills, a guy pulling up with multiple pretty women, coming from a known higher class family, foreigner status in Kenya, for example being Nigerian or Indian, and being a narcotics plug. A notable figure perceived to come from higher class family is Kibanja. Words on the streets claimed her family is tied to Kenya's former President Moi. The game was taken to a whole new level when bigger mansions were hired with pools to host pool parties. At this time, people from Nairobi participated in this. Other regions like Kiambu, Thika, Nakuru, Kisumu, and Mombasa were excluded, and they tried to create the same in their areas. It was usual for guys to travel from areas like Nakuru to Nairobi just to attend these events. Some Masoshi developed strategies to make money out of this era by selling their accounts, since they knew growing a new account was easy as they had an audience. Other scrupulous means were developed, such as faking loss of account through hacking, then starting a new account and selling the hacked ones. You could see phrases like, "Naiwe sneaker has been hacked, follow new account," on their posts and their close friends' posts. However, some guys were genuinely hacked. They also sold tickets to events as they were given commissions from organizers. This is by advertising on posts or stories, and if you were interested, you would HMU, as they said. Others would deliver to those interested in areas where they were visiting. Sometimes tickets could be sold at popular meetup spots, such as video games areas. Another trend in Kenyan entertainment scene emerged, the Gengeton era that started around 2018. It comprised of songs with heavy Sheng language and Odi dances. This was a new gen wave of the Genge songs done by the likes of Jua Kali. Songs like Lamba Lolo by Ethic took over the Kenyan music and dance scene. Other Gengeton groups emerged, such as Ochungulo Family, Sailors, and Boondocks Gang. You can't forget club bangers like Position, Saba, Thao, Aluta, Pandemic, Madam, Boko Haram, Packaging, and others. These songs resonated mostly with Odis, but yours gave them a green light as a way to support their artists and due to their catchy Kenyan anthems. 2018 was a major year for green sports events. The trio events lineup, Quito, Gold Cup, and Platinum Cup, would see soaring numbers of attendees. Gold Cup was the climax, and Platinum Cup would mark the downward spiral of green sports as an entertainment event. Quito happened on April, and later that night, photos were spread across IG. But most eyes were on Green Sports IG account, since it seemed like an achievement if you appeared on their posts and movie trailer video. The attendees whose pics were posted were tagged by their friend, and they became excited as if it were a trophy. To the positive side of this, Green Sports would make a poll on IG on a couple of challenges. For example, you tag them on your picture or group picture. They would repost it and get the people's votes on whose was the best, and you would win free tickets for the next event. If you were a top ranking Soshi, there was a high chance of winning. The ones who did not attend looked at the pictures and gained a desire to attend the next Gold Cup, which was some months away. Some didn't attend for personal reasons, but others, notably top Soshis, wanted to maintain their class by reducing outside appearances, or they would attend for a very short time and leave almost as soon as they arrived. Traps never died, and they opted to take the risk with authorities. On another trap, cops were called to the scene, and due to the fearful nature of many folks towards authority, most attendees fled the scene through fences, risking injuries before even they knew what the issue was. It's August and all high schoolers are on holiday. Some had dreamed of this time, even noting it on their diaries while crossing out the days until the holiday. First thing, start looking for trendy fit for the holiday. This time it was the 3 stripes Adidas track pants, denim jackets, Balenciaga speed sock shoes, Nike Roches, and Adidas Superstar sneakers. Gikomba was raided for fits. The main event was the Gold Cup. Outside Nairobi, the others were tired of watching the pictures on IG and hearing stories. They wanted to attend. For those from far areas like Mombasa, they opted to spend the holiday in Nairobi relatives' houses. Those from nearer areas like Nakuru opted to travel since it was about 3.5 hours travel time to Nairobi. Initially, these events attracted yours. This particular Gold Cup attracted Odis alike, but in small numbers. Some Odis are attributed to malice behavior, such as snatching phones from event goers who try capturing the moment for memories. It's not new to hear the next morning after a rowdy event about people complaining about their phones being snatched. The more expensive the phone is, like iPhones, the more the pain. Some people counter this by attending events with katululus only. a shank press for button-style phones which are often cheaper. They won't cause regret if stolen, as snatchers aren't interested due to their low value. On the event's day, all roads led to Hillcrest School Karen. You could find groups at archives waiting for others, and in matatus, you would not miss at least a single person going to Gold Cup. This is the dominant means of transport, but the upper class kids could be dropped off by their parents. As most people who went for entertainment purposes land, you pull up on the second day near the end time when the atmosphere is at its peak. For those who attended for the first time, they just wanted to be there, so they didn't want to miss any day or moment. The entrance fee was about 500 Kenyan shillings for early bird, 750 Kenyan shillings for regular, and 1000 Kenyan shillings for late after the tickets purchase was closed, bought at the entrance. The site for ticket purchase was MOOC and you received an email. Upon arrival, you show the email, they check, then give you a tag tied on your wrist. Tags were different categorized by colors for normal attendees, soccer participants, event organizers, MCs, and other special ones for service providers like ambulance services. It was a tag worn until the event was over, since once removed or cut, it could not get back. The first day was calm, with hit songs being blasted, majorly Gengeton songs. A song by the name Position by Ethic and Major took over the show. Attendees sang it word to word while doing the Odi dances. Shak the Hangin, aka Nairobi's youngest sponsor, came in with the energy as the MC. After observing the vibe on day one, the message was spread to those joining on the second day, and while heading back home, everybody plotted how they would dress the next day. It was a challenge to those using matatus, since in a high-end area like Karen, matatus are scarce and you had to wait for a long time since most people there use personal vehicles. But for residents, it was easier since Uber cabs or their cars were around. On the second and last day of Gold Cup, large numbers headed towards one place, Hillcrest. It happened like the previous day vibe-wise. Position was played, but dirty lyrics were censored as part of means to protect the young folks. While walking around, you could easily differentiate between Odis and yours. The yours rocked on designer fits inspired by US brands and trap artists, while Odis wore safari boots and graffiti t-shirts with icons like Vybz Kartel on them. Most Odis used odd means to enter by sneaking and even collecting tags of those who left earlier and gluing them on their wrists. Some guys were there for specific purposes, including supplying narcotics such as marijuana. For liquor, you had to go outside and find spots to drink before coming back lit and play sober at the entrance so as not to be kicked out. Don't ask me how these underage kids accessed the liquor. Some narcotics were sold on the fence. The atmosphere shot to the roof when the evening and the end time neared. The games were almost over and large crowds were forming near the MC stage. Position dominated the airwaves and youth were dancing. Now you could spot high-ranking Masoshi arriving and catching up with your friends. Photos after photos. A good time comes to an end. While heading home, it wasn't done yet. There were other exclusive after parties and traps. Other groups wrapped the night by visiting dining spots or video game centers for reasons including letting the liquor dilute in their system before heading home. The lower-ranking social members headed home straight away, and most due to parents' instructions. This event remained in the attendees' memory as a remarkable one. As the August holiday ended, students geared up for back-to-school era, where most high schoolers are gloomy with university students strolling with memes. Those who did not attend or were from other regions outside Nairobi waited for the stories in school opening. They surrounded the attendees as they gave the story. This increased their desire to join Nairobi institutions later in life. Now guys eyed Platinum Cup, and as soon as the December holiday kicked in, guys started weighing in if to buy Platinum tickets. There was an odd doubt on the Platinum Cup compared to the same time before the prolific Gold Cup event. This was largely due to the habit of high-ranking Masoshi manipulating events that large masses attend. If a Soshi posted on an IG story he or she was attending an event, it kind of convinced others to attend, and the opposite is true. Guys did not like the way green sports events were censored, such that Kula Taco was rebuked, a phrase that meant a girl twerking on a male. Explicit lyrics on hit songs such as Position were censored. Others claimed the event's food was expensive. Remember, most of these guys are below the legal age but want to enjoy more. On food being expensive, it comes with the nature of the area the event was hosted. It was certain that the doubt could be due to a rival event being organized. And you are right, a trap called TMB2 was being cooked, and this time it was an open event as long as you paid an entry fee. Its organizer was a group called FYS Mob. People stormed Greenspot's Instagram comment section, with majority criticizing them in favor of TMB and trolled those who considered attending. TMB fans claimed that GS attendants were kids and it was a physical education event like the ones done mostly in primary schools. Others said only primary school kids should attend and asserted the only event worth it is TMB2. Platinum Cup was scheduled for 3 days, unlike the previous which were 2 days events. This might have been due to increased number of soccer teams participating, so it would cover Friday, Saturday and Sunday. TMB2 was scheduled for only 1 day, and that was the same Saturday as Platinum Cup. It might have been a strategy of TMB organizers to steal some of Greenspot's audience. Greenspot's events started early to cater for the games, but trap parties started in the evening and ran late till morning. Being a 3-day event, it was without question that day 1 would be a low attendance day, since most people went for the vibes, which was not likely there on early times. People were reluctant whether to attend TMB2 due to rumors of police intervention, but organizers cleared the doubt by showing the permit and clearance from the police on IG stories. The rivalry became big to the point that Greenspot's fans and TMB2 fans traded trolls online. The GS organizers were well aware of this. The two might have been in a competition for award category for the best event organizers, since there were awards for this and also for Soshis. There were some neutral guys, however, who planned to attend both. GS organizers felt that TMB was a threat, relying on an excuse that it was not fit for below 18 kids. While arriving to Platinum that day, on Saturday, it was odd. A police truck outside the gate and a couple of police standby. There was a number of crowds outside that seemed hesitant to enter the event or were waiting for people from the event. This time the vibe was different, as some youth parked outside in 14-seater matatus with loud music and neon lights. As darkness neared, the security and search done by guards became tighter, and those found with narcotics had their tags snapped and handed over to the police, then led into the truck. Also, some who had liquor blended in soft drinks were busted. The large crowds outside the gate were driven away by the police, who cleared the area around the main gate. Any person who interacted with the guys outside was considered a suspect with malice means. You would be questioned what business you had with those guys. It later turned out that most of these guys waiting outside were TMB2 fans waiting for their friends inside the GS to come out so that they head to TMB. At around 5 p.m., they developed a no-entry policy regardless of whether you had the tag or ticket. It was only getting out and not going in. The night ended with fear as guys didn't want to get arrested, and the TMB guys headed to the trap. This is regardless of the rumors that the police were set to conduct a raid there. Those who doubted the TMB would later see on IG stories how the party went. A rant on IG led by Masoshi and others discredited GS and said that they were too strict, denying attendees enjoyment. This later would show the power of Masoshi, since on the D-Day, that is Sunday for the Platinum Cup, only a handful people turned up. Unlike Gold Cup, where guys crowded near the MC vibing, there were no people, and it can be likened to a voluntary public fundraising on streets. This would start the downfall of GS as an entertainment event, and it became more of sports-oriented. The high schoolers followed the Masoshi's lead to traps and other private events. This proves the nature of young people wanting prohibited things for their age out of curiosity. This included drugs, since in the traps there were marijuana plugs, smoking, and drinking liquor was allowed. It is worth to mention that Greenspot is still active, offering an avenue for soccer prospects to showcase their talent, while the trap parties were seasonal and might have evolved to other entertainment forms. The photo influencer era came to an end mainly due to a shift of influencer culture favoring video-based influencers who took advantage of the increasing YouTube and TikTok popularity for example the Pluto. Most photo influencers did not catch up, which led to their irrelevancy. Some remained relevant since they had a bigger purpose than just photos shared, such as modeling careers, plugging shoes and clothes, music careers, and acting. Other Masoshi had their life become private due to unknown reasons. Some left to focus on their lives due to personal responsibilities like education and family. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and watch this awesome video next.